your political theater to Texas.
This is not about political theater.
And it was more political theater than anything.
It's nothing more than pure political theater.
It's pure political theater.
A second unfired casing read, "Oh, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow, Chow." And a third unfired casing read, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO."
Holy sugar. Trying to get monetized. Welcome to Political Theater with Dr. Taylor. Oh. So much to talk about. So much to talk about. Shout out to everybody who was waiting for me. Full disclosure, I have giraffe pussy right now. So we're gonna make it through. I have giraffe pussy. And I got a whole lot on my docket. So we're gonna try to make it through. Listen. All right, this is what we're gonna talk about tonight. Y'all, they done found the dude that shot Charlie Kirk, allegedly. You know what? I got to put my allegedly banner for the entire night because nobody's suing me. Nobody, nope. They compiling lists of us. Anybody who says anything about Charlie, they putting all your business out there. Your address, putting where your mama stay, where you work, where your mama work. Got to be careful out in these streets. They whacking niggas out here from 200 yards away. You got to be careful. Allegedly. All right. Everybody been talking about it, but we're going to talk about it our way. Tyler Robinson. Who is Tyler Robinson? Okay, well, one thing we do know is that he's 22, was raised Mormon. Now, I'm saying that he was raised Mormon because, you know, you can be forced to go to whatever services, but then you get older, you become an adult, you kind of do what you want. So I don't know. But we know he was raised Mormon. I don't know if he was part of the really weird Mormon cult or just a regular Mormon cult. He was a Trump supporter, but he was more of the Nick Fuentes type than the JD Vance who actually hates Trump type, or the Charlie Kirk type who was starting to question Trump about the Epstein files and was questioning AIPAC, he was starting to ask the questions that they didn't want him to, fuck it. I'm just going to wear this for the entire night because we gotta put the tinfoil hat on. It's tinfoil hat time. Shout out to the chat. Good to see you. Let's see who's in the chat. Chantal, Tiffany, what up, y'all? Can I see you? I see you. Maxine, I see you. What up, y'all? Anybody here first time in the chat? If you're first time in the chat, put a 1 in the chat. Everybody will welcome you here. All right. So I got to put my tinfoil hat for the whole thing, y'all. Now, he was of the Nick Fuentes sort, they said, which means that he didn't like Charlie Kirk because Charlie Kirk was too moderate. And they said that Charlie Kirk did not hate Jewish people enough for their liking. So again, there's two different types of these kinds of racist conservative types, right? You know, so we're going to get into this. All right. So there's a lot going on. All right. This is coming from the Oregonian. Okay. So this is how he got picked up. Now, first of all, they had the video footage from the university, right? So they could see the guy. We all saw him jump off the thing, damn near break his ankles. We saw it. And so that they were able to see that. And then they started showing it on the news, right? So what they said happened was the roommate, they had, his father recognized him. Oh, man, listen. You know how I know these white people? Because his father dropped dime on him. Okay? He was not Italian. He was not a Polak. No. Because they don't say. He wasn't no Albanian. Definitely wasn't no Serbian. They don't snitch. Okay? But his father recognized him. And what did it say? From the photos that the FBI put out, he told him to turn himself in. He said, son, my boy, you got to turn yourself in. You got to do the right white thing. Can't be like these N-words out here who always running from the law. You got to turn yourself in. Well, of course he said that because his father's a goddamn pig, right? So his dad is snitching because he's a pig, right? He's an officer of the law. They said 27 years on the force. He couldn't happen to have the one goddamn corrupt cop in Utah of all the police officers to have as a dad. You got to get one that's not corrupt. What a waste. What a waste. You heard? That is a waste. All right. So he said Robinson refused at first, but then he changed his mind, according to the law enforcement official who spoke on the condition of anonymity. Everybody's on the condition of the one word I can't fucking pronounce, to discuss an ongoing investigation. His father reached out for help to their youth pastor. Now, you know how I feel about youth pastors, number one predators in the country. And they occasionally, because the youth pastor worked for the U.S. Marshals occasionally, and they called the agency so he could turn himself in. So you telling me the first person you don't call is one of your buddies? Now, here's what I want y'all to think about. He tells his father, how long were they looking for this guy? He tells his father what he did. Now, how soon after he did it did he tell his father? Was it immediate? Did he wait until the nighttime? And so he told his father. When did his father report this? How long did his father take to try to clear the scene? Your daddy's a pig. Your dad had been on the force for 27 years. You live at home with your parents. How much of that house got scrubbed? Bet they try to dispose of a lot of his devices. Probably went through his room, anything that they could find. Because he did not immediately call the police. In fact, they involved youth pastor. When he told his father should have been on the call right then and there. I got him. You're asking the right questions, Tiffany. I wonder if the dad owned the sniper. Probably did. Or probably gave it to them. No, because so I saw a lot of pictures and stuff, and I'm not going to share it because there's other children in the pictures. I don't like when people doing that. He's got at least one younger sibling that is a minor, so I'm not going to do that. Plus, his mama didn't do this. Now, is she complicit? Of course she is. She gave birth to a goddamn shooter. But she don't, whatever. So, but anyway, there's pictures of him as a child holding guns and them going to like gun shows and things like that. So it's a good chance that he had his own, but it's also a good chance that this was the dad's, right? They probably, likely. I agree with you, Karen, in the chat said it's likely that they gifted him with it. Absolutely. Let's keep going though. The clothes that he wore when confronted by law enforcement late Thursday were consistent with what he had on the campus a day earlier. So again, we're talking the next day. We just got to find out when because they're not giving no timeline. They're not giving no timeline. And then a roommate, they said, again, this is from the Oregonian, whatever, however y'all pronounce that. They said a roommate shared with authorities messages from the chatting app Discord that involved a contact named Tyler and discussed a rifle wrapped in a towel, engraved bullets, and a scope. So they ain't come from his daddy. Nope. He went and got that himself. And I saw people, stupid people, they like, how did they engrave things onto the bullets? Y'all don't know that micro engravers exist. This is how I know y'all don't have nothing. You don't know nothing. Why are you questioning if how they engrave something on a bullet. There are devices that can fuck people automatically. You mean to tell me that you don't know how people can come up with the technology? Anyway, told you I'm high. Here we go. All right. So what else they said? His address is still listed as parents' name. That he's not a registered Republican or Democrat. He's unaffiliated, but he is conservative. And part of why he probably is independent or unaffiliated, as many people are, is because they're extreme, right? So I'm independent because the Democrats are not, they don't represent me, right? And so I imagine that there's probably some folks who are so extreme that even MAGA doesn't represent them, that they don't register and want to affiliate with that. So that's possible too. Welcome to the chat, everybody. If you are on Instagram, please come and join us on YouTube if you're able to. We got a little party going on. Shout out to everybody in the YouTube chat. I really love and appreciate every time you all show up and keep me company, because you know I would do this if it was just me too. I would be talking and laughing and joking just like that. What up, Ike? I see you in there. What up? How you doing? See Catherine Tapley. Is that a cat? Yeah, I know that's right. All right. If it's your first time, put a 1 in the chat. We'd love to see it. All right. So this is what else we know. So Dad, we know Dad. Now we know Dad wiped the room. Probably tried to clean his devices because he's probably not smart enough to know that whatever the FBI needs to get off of the devices, they can. But with Kash Patel in charge of the FBI and him looking like a deer in headlights today, they may say we could not pull anything off of his computer because everybody who knew how to do that probably doesn't even work for the FBI anymore. Welcome, JoJo Pie. Welcome, Karen. Welcome, Gumble. Good to see you. Welcome, Josh. Good to see you. First time, folks. Oh, y'all didn't know I was like this. Let me take this off a little bit, get a little bit of act right. Oh, let's do that while we watch this. Let's watch what the governor had to say. Let me open this up. Hold on. Hold on. Why is he talking? Stop talking. Pause. Pause. I can't even get it to pause. All right. Well, I hate that Threads doesn't let you pause shit. But anyway, hold on.
You know, this bad stuff happens. And for 33 hours, I was praying that if this had to happen,
watch
here,
Kash.
that it wouldn't
watch
be one
Kash.
of us. That somebody drove from another state. Somebody came from another country.
Look at Kash. We're gonna run that back. Watch Kash Patel.
Somebody drove from another state. Somebody came from another country.
He is like, what?
Sadly, that prayer was not answered the way I hoped for. Just because I thought it would make it easier on us if we could just say, hey, we don't do that here. And indeed, Utah is a special place. We lead the nation in charitable giving. We lead the nation in service every year.
Yeah. Talk about leading the nation. 414 suicides by gun each year in Utah. Domestic violence is the #1 cause of homicide in Utah. Okay. Gun violence is the #1 cause of death for Utah minors. Let's talk about some #1s, right? Let's talk about some stuff. Yeah. Bad stuff happens, right? They lead the nation in plastic surgery. You know what? I didn't even know that. Is that true? Utah leads the nation in plastic surgery? I thought that would have been Florida. All right. Oh, so did y'all see the theory that Laura Loomer caused this? I'm gonna show y'all. Look, shit. They saying Laura Loomer did it. The streets are saying that 22-year-old Tyler was avenging his queen, Laura Loomer. Friends, there might be something here. I'm gonna show y'all this. Somebody tell me what. Oh shit! What the fuck just happened? I didn't even know. I put the wrong button. All right. Hold on, yeah. Hold on. You gotta read this. Hold on. You ready? Laura Loomer said, July 13th. I don't ever want to hear Charlie Kirk 11 claim he is pro-Trump ever again. After this weekend, I'd say he has revealed himself as political opportunist, and I have had a front row seat to witness the mental gymnastics these last 10 years. Lately, Charlie has decided to behave like a charlatan, claiming to be pro-Trump one day while he stabs Trump in the back the next. Wow. And then she goes on and on. Charlie played both sides of the Iran issue on his show, as we all saw, because he wants to play both sides of the aisle. The honorable thing to do is have a position and actually defend it to the death instead of flip-flopping. But guess what? He did. He flip-flopped. But listen, do y'all understand where we going with this? What was yesterday? What was September 10th that they did this, right? September 11th Eve, right? Right? Shout out to everybody on Facebook. I see the Facebook reacts there. I see some of y'all here from Facebook. But listen, y'all. I hope that's not fake. I hope that that's true. I think it's real because that's how she talks. Laura Loomer is how old? No. Laura Loomer is not no damn 32. I know you a goddamn lie. Let's go see. Laura Loomer, age. Born May 21st, 1993. Are you shitting me? I thought Laura Loomer was a good 51, 52 years old. This shit's starting to make all the goddamn sense now. Starting to make the sense. Y'all follow me. He was following. They confirmed that he was following her. January, she basically called for. We're gonna read that again. We're gonna read that one more time. The honorable thing to do is have a position and actually defend it to the death instead of flip-flopping. He was following her. He saw that. He decided to go avenge his lady. Probably had a huge crush on her. Because she is as reckless and out there as Nick Fuentes and those others. She is more extreme than Charlie Kirk. Absolutely. Absolutely. He has extreme views, but she got an extreme mouth. And one thing about Charlie, 90% of the time, because sometimes I saw him, lose it and crash out a bit, but 90% of the time, Charlie Kirk keep his shit straight up, like, and that's like me. I just straight up look you in the face, like, you're wrong. No, that's not it. Nope. and that's I was been going back and watching a lot of his stuff. I was, he's very matter of fact, and he is unfazed by most things, right? And I think him having that particular stance and stature and disposition is why folks were like the young people were drawn to him. They saw him as a man of strength because he didn't seem to waver or back down, right? You know what I mean? So that's interesting. Hey, everybody in the chat. It's so good to see everybody here. I'm so happy. We're almost at 100 people in the YouTube. So if you're on Instagram, come on over and join us on the YouTube. It's way more fun. Facebook, I see you all over there. Looking great, looking good. Love you all so much. I'm going to try to stream more to Facebook just so I can maximize the exposure. All right, so we got more stuff to get through. Okay, let's go. What was I saying on the docket? Hold on. So we saw the governor's speech. We saw that the extremists are on the rise. Okay, and since I was just talking about that, let's get into this. All right, so it's very important that you all understand that Tyler was a Nick Fuentes guy. He's a groiper, right? And he did not think that Charlie was. See, before I knew about all that connection, I was like, he's a Trumper and probably doesn't think that, or he probably thinks that, Charlie went too far. Because there are a lot of Trumpers who really don't actually like to hear that stuff, right? Like, I live around them. They're not big on all of that, xenophobic rhetoric and things like that. That's kind of one of the things about Trump, that they were just kind of like, so they're not like that. I thought maybe he was like that. No, he's the opposite of it. He doesn't think that Charlie goes far enough, right? And so I saw somebody had some screenshots from the poll board on 4chan, which I go to at least once a week just to see if they're talking about plotting anything to make Black women look bad, because we've had a lot of those attacks. And in honor of my late sis, Shafika Hudson, I still try to keep up some of that "your slip is showing" work. So anyway, so they're over there talking about this is one of our guys, because they were on some old, they were hoping to stoke the whole like transgender liberal stuff. Like that was part of one of their ops. So they were pushing that, and they're like, wait, it's one of ours? Uh-oh. So they're all kind of like claiming. You said he was from a different set. So there, yeah. So now we're seeing that the extremist groups, they hated him. Right? I'm looking at the Wired right now. Extremist groups hated Charlie Kirk. They're using his death to radicalize others. They're saying that the Oath Keepers are restarting. Proud Boys, they're continuing to use their name, even though the government's, the law said that they can't. And all these, basically what they're saying is that these extremist groups have been looking for that. Like, well, we talked about this last time. I said this is like their Emmett Till moment, right? And somebody else said this for them. This is their Dr. King. Like they're making him into their Dr. King. So whatever. They're just looking for that moment, not by theory or anything, but just kind of that assassination. They keep calling this an assassination. Well, now they can because they actually have the person. But even before they had him, they were calling it an assassination. And it's just like, well, you don't know what happened. His own daddy could have shot him. The daddy could have shot him because he caught him trying to have sex with a boy or something. I don't know. These white people, these white men, I got to think of all the extremes because my extreme is their normal, right? Okay. Shout out to the white guys in the chat. I would say we love you, but we don't. Oh, let's watch Andrew Tate. Let's watch him. He had some shit to say today. I feel like he always got some shit to say. Hold on, let me turn this.
Get food in this.
Start from the beginning.
So Charlie's killer has been caught. Some 22-year-old dweeb, some theater kid who managed to kill a man far greater than he could ever be. What comes next? Well, this is extremely simple. He's now been apprehended. Now that he's been apprehended, he should be interviewed publicly. And the name of every single inspiration that comes out of his mouth, when we ask him why he believed what he thought about Charlie, all of the liberal media, all of the left-wing influencers, all of his friends, anybody who told him bad things about Charlie, every single name he says, they are all in a RICO case and they also go to jail. He is then thrown in a cell. And the only way he can get food in this barren landscape is by carving the word sorry into his own skin with a knife. Eventually, when he's run out of skin to carve, we're going to line him up and shoot him in the fucking neck. And if anybody at home has a problem with this, I'll take the shot myself.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Andrew Tate is on that stuff. Y'all young people don't know. We just call it that stuff. We ain't even have to name what it is. It's just that stuff. That motherfucker is on that stuff. Oh my God. He said take a shot. He said he take a shot. I don't know. I didn't hear the last part, but he was talking about the shot, right? So that's Andrew Tate. But here's the thing. Okay, so you hear this, right? They were talking about public executions and shit, and now they're talking about we want to talk to him. He's got to name names. This was a RICO situation. He ain't naming names. Do y'all understand that them 4chan poll boys, their patron saint is Elliot Rodgers. They want to go famous for this. They want to be able to be bold enough to do something like this and get fame from it. They've been talking about this for years. I've been watching them for like a decade now. They want this. They celebrate this. Like, they wish to be the next one. That's why there's so many of these shootings, because they're all tapping in, trying to be the next famous one. Why? Because they have no friends. They have no love and care at home. They are neglected. And so they are seeking notoriety through these damn mass shootings, y'all. That's where it's coming from. It's not coming from no damn video games. It's not coming from no music. It is coming from them finding community on these message boards and becoming so extreme because they're just trying to have brotherhood, just trying to be a part of the brotherhood. So whatever these other ones are saying, they're going to say it too, until the point where they start internalizing it and adopting it as their own thing. So they may go in kind of moderate, kind of like, well, yeah, we hate the N-words, but, you know, we're still okay with the Jews. They may come in like that, right? But after a few months, now they hate the Jews as well, because every day they're logging on and somebody's calling the Jewish people some other anti-Semitic name or something like that. And it just starts picking up. That's how this is happening, y'all. And so we have to talk about this, because this is exactly what happened right here. This dude, who I believe dropped out of college after like 1 year or whatever, or one semester, kind of like Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk dropped out of college to go and build his empire or whatever. This dude, very smart kid, based on his grades and things like that. He got a scholarship to go to Utah, some university or whatever, Washington, whatever, I don't know. But he dropped out of school after a semester. But here go all these other ones talking about, see, that's what happens. Go to college and they radicalize you. Down with colleges. Shut down. I mean, people are literally on X today talking about shut down all the colleges, fire all the professors, burn them all down, send them all to jail. And I'm like, I ain't got nothing to do with this. This ain't me. Like, come on. What did I do? What did I do? Nothing. All right. But, you know, we got to listen to our favorite coon. Our favorite coon. Hold on. Got to share this one. Because, oh my God. Oh my God. Are y'all ready? Okay.
Even in this moment of shock and adversity, he finds a reason to smile, and it's incredible. Take a look at this.
Oh, sorry. Look at her.
That was Charlie.
That was Charlie.
That was Charlie, man. That was always his main thing. Be a happy warrior.
Be
and
a
he
happy
was a happy
warrior.
warrior. And we were happy warriors. And we laughed a lot at the protesters, the absurdity of the protesters always. I personally think some of the protesters liked that Charlie and I were making light fun of them. I don't even know what campus event this is, but I love this video of me just playing with the protesters, sitting in front of one of their signs, and Charlie speaking over my shoulder.
Anyway.
If you aren't wealthy, white, and male, Charlie Kirk is not your friend. What do you think?
Not my friend anymore.
Are we not friends? Is that right?
Find out. It's not gonna find out.
Well,
anyway,
I'm only a few years older than you, but I think you're gonna see things my way, and I think in the end, Charlie was going through a spiritual transformation. I don't think it. I know it. He was going through a lot, and there was a lot of pressure, and it's hard for me to watch the people who were pressuring him. I don't know, just say the things that they're saying. You know, I just
listen. I'm going to run this back, folks.
I'm at, and there's no room for movement. And you tell your whoever that needs to hear it, whatever you need to tell them, because we're always going to be brothers.
Hold on. Let me go back to that one part. Listen to this.
I think in the end, Charlie was going through a spiritual transformation. I don't think it. I know it. He was
Clock
going
it.
through a lot, and
Clock it.
There was a lot of pressure.
Clock it.
For me to watch the people who were pressuring him. I don't know, just say the things that they're saying. You know, there's something about it that just feels really fake, really fake to me. And they would have allowed
Woo!
him to lose and wanted him to lose everything
Woo!
for changing or even slightly modifying an
What?
opinion, and then to see them doing what they're doing today, it's hurtful to me.
What?
It's very hurtful to me.
What?
But I don't
What?
want today to be about anything other than you guys knowing that Charlie really was an amazing person. You know, he was like, we were really close.
Did y'all hear what I heard? Because I heard Candace Owens just implicate all of these people. And then we put that together with what Laura Loomis said in July. She was chastising him. He wasn't a real Trumper, right? She's not the only one. There were others that were kind of like, Charlie, And remember, he was talking about the Epstein files. What ended up happening? He had and Charlie was going hardcore on the Epstein files. Then what happened? Trump yoked his neck, had a meeting with him. Right after that meeting, Charlie Kirk goes on and says, well, I'm going to trust the president, and I know the right thing will happen, and I'm just going to let it go. He went from like adamantly declaring, like demanding that they have it. Then he met with Trump and he shut the fuck up. That already told me that they had something on him. See, that's how Trump does everything that he does. Trump has something on every single one of these people. I really want to know what he has on Kash Patel. Because wow. But he's got something on every single one of these people. And I want to know what he had on Charlie Kirk to get him to shut up like that. And you know what I think it was? There's probably some kind of sexual footage or something of Charlie doing something with someone outside of his wife. I didn't say nothing about what kind of person that might be, but it had to be something so significant that if it got out, it would ruin everything that he dropped out of college to build in his parents' garage. Because nobody flips literally in one meeting, Charlie had been Epstein files, release the files, tell the truth, release the files, tell the truth. And then that one meeting, he comes out immediately. Just to trust the president, and everything. If he says it's fine, he says he's that what, and then it's good and we're fine. So this was happening already, y'all. And Laura Luma posted that thing that I already read. Charlie Kirk was not their guy. Because look at even Tucker Carlson started like pushing back on some stuff too. Charlie, and you hear what Candace said. Candace said, I think he was having a spiritual revolution or something like that. Because you know what she was saying? She's trying to suggest that maybe Charlie Kirk was starting to have a change of mind about some things. And that he was moving away from the party. Because he's only 31 years old. And what she was saying in that message, I know y'all heard her. She said, they don't give people room to grow. They don't allow you to change your position. And I know she's speaking for herself as well as others. But I don't mess with Candace the long way, but I listen because that woman drops dime all the time if you pay attention. And the ways that she separates herself from the party versus how she aligns with things is very interesting to watch. That's what I do. Is how this whole thing got started. I watch these people. I study them, right? I study Black women in media too. So Candace is going to be right there for me. Candace was just dropping major dime and people missed it because they were so upset about her eulogizing him and being sad. But she just basically blew that shit up for me. She let us know Charlie was changing. Charlie was not feeling this stuff. Charlie was not agreeing with this. Charlie was honest. Which I do believe that Charlie Kirk was honest. He was disgusting and violent, evil, but he was honest about his feelings. They're not lying when they say that, right? Right? So that's it. They didn't allow you to grow because she's had her own changes. And the thing is, I do believe that they were like this. I do believe they were best buds. And she's been going through her own transformation. Yes, He said that Israel was causing a genocide and started questioning AIPAC. I saw the video. I couldn't find it for this, but I saw the videos questioning AIPAC, right? And pushing back against Israel and what they were doing. He flipped on the Gaza. Yeah. He was just like, nah, this is not what I'm about. And so, you can't say that. Not when you have such influence. $39 million Turning Point got in the bank. A little too powerful. And as somebody else said, Trump is not going to be happy with all this attention going towards him. So now that we know that it's Tyler that did this, it's this white conservative, extremely right-wing person, they're going to make this go away by Sunday, right? We have to keep the name going, y'all. We have to keep talking about it. Make sure if you're on your social medias, you post about this at least once a day, because we got to keep it going. Because they're going to try to bury this. They're not going to say anything about Tyler on Monday. They're going to wrap this up by Sunday, close of Jesus business, okay? Saw that. Netanyahu immediately sent an RIP. He already knew it was going to happen. He already knew it was going to happen. You think he's not plugged into this 4chan shit? You think they're not fucking Russian assets ain't all up in that? They already knew. They already knew. So it's whatever. Oh, I just wanted to show you this one of the alt. Because I'm trying to emphasize the difference. There's Charlie Kirk, and then there's the alt-right extremists like Fuentes. And I want to show you this video. Hold on. Because this is really interesting to me.
How does anal sex help us win the culture war?
I'm going to let the gay man answer.
Wait a minute.
So they was messing with him. They was messing with him.
Do you have the balls to ask the gay man on the stage that question and don't refer to him? So ask me that question. I will answer you that question.
How does
I'm gonna ask you. You already asked the question, so I'm gonna answer that question. I'm gonna ask you that question. You seem to be really interested in gay sex. I'm pretty sure if you're into that, you can go find somebody to do it.
What a racist question that was. So I got a quick and fun, lighthearted question for you, Charlie. So I know you gave a speech in Jerusalem earlier this year.
Yes, I did.
Were there any awesome, fun dance parties that you guys had afterwards? Because I heard that Israelis are some of the best dancers in the world. If you guys don't believe me, just Google dancing Israelis. It's insane how good their dance moves are.
So yeah, that video was terrible.
Israel's a beautiful country, a great country.
It was terrible.
It is. They're our greatest ally.
Correct. Thanks for being here tonight.
And so this is where it starts, because they don't like the Jewish folks.
Thank you for being here tonight. Next question.
Census Bureau population projections. In 2045, whites will account for less than 50% of the population in the United States. Given that the Democratic Party's policies do not point towards the maintaining of our American ideals, and given the most groups other than whites overwhelmingly vote Democrat, how can we be sure that said American ideals will be maintained when millions of immigrants come in with majority Democratic support? Can you prove that our white European ideals can be maintained if the country's majority is no longer made up of white European descendants? If
right.
not, should we support mass legal immigration?
Okay, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. All right, let me answer.
He was shook. He was shook.
Your question with my perspective.
Let's play
that idea. We let a bunch of German or French people who are all socialist and hate our values. The insinuation of your question is that somehow race and ideology are intertwined together. President Donald Trump has been wrongly accused of being a racist president. Do you know that President Donald Trump received more support in the Latino and the Black community than John McCain?
See, whatever. So he got trolled. These people were Nick Fuentes plants. Okay, hold on. These are Nick Fuentes plants. So this was an intentional trolling because they wanted to destroy the tour. This is back in 2019. They wanted to destroy the tour. And I guess when they found out that he was going to be on stage with the black gay guy, they went all in. Yes, we can see that kid. Yes, yes. That's what. Yeah, that was the whole thing. He told people to Google that. It was really nasty. But that was Nick Fuentes' people. So that's telling you how extreme Nick Fuentes' people are. And this guy, Tyler, was a Nick Fuentes boy. Okay, so hold on 1 second, y'all. I wipe my nose. I'm like, what the hell? I know my nose is always so dry. But anyway, so there was that. Oh, and so now they're doxing people, right? So they created a website basically for people to go and report each other for saying disparaging things about Charlie Kirk, right? So I asked today on Threads, do they stop teaching McCarthyism? Does anybody know like where we are in this world right now? Am I the only one? Am I tripping? Like, I remember reading and learning about a time when everybody was being accused of being a communist. People were being brought before these like tribunals and shit. They were getting blacklisted from work and all these things like that. I keep seeing all these posts about university professors and other workers being fired because they expressed something about, and you know, I'm a professor too, and I'm just like, wow, if I get fired because I host this, okay, it's whatever. I'm an adjunct, so they ain't paying me no real money any damn way. I could hold and get more money than that. But anyway, they gonna fire me. They gonna get me out. They gonna get me. But people are being fired. People in teaching, like public school teachers, being fired. And it hasn't been any particular race or gender. Like they getting everybody, although I haven't seen Black folks getting caught up like that. But they're getting people fired for saying something about one of the most vile human beings in human history. Like he didn't have no gun power or whatever, but ideologically, definitely in the United States history, like everything that man said was horrendous. Until again, it seems like starting this year, he was starting to have some kind of change of heart about some things. That does not serve them well because Turning Point USA brought out the young vote. Remember we talking about how the votes got split and stuff like that. The young people came out. They have been trying to figure out how did all these young Gen Z folks become conservative when they were raised by like super kind of liberal Gen Xers, right? Many of whom have, gotten conservative in their old age, but they say that happens to everyone. But realizing that these young white men are being radicalized by the likes of Charlie Kirk and Nick Fuentes. And so when it came to handing over a demographic vote, Charlie came through with his $39 million in the bank and the heiress of Publix giving him money so that he could rent buses for people to go to January 6th. If you're shopping at Publix, you need to find somewhere else to shop. Okay? We boycotting them, And this is what... Listen, y'all. Way too much influence. He was only 31. The people were not going to like J.D. Vance, but Charlie Kirk, dictator in the future for sure. Like he was definitely a dictator in the making. And like I said in the last one, a lot of the coulda, shoulda, wouldas when we study history, and history's now going to say, Kirk, who was on the fascist rise to leadership, had his life tragically ended. Yeah, good. Kind of what they should have been doing to the likes of Hitler and Stalin and Leopold and all of those folks. Christopher Columbus, right? But what do I know? So anyway, they are doxing people and posting people's information and all of that kind of stuff. Also, Pete Hegseth. Yes, Pete Hegseth said, let's see what I have that one up. Oh, wait, let me show you how this. Hold on, let me show you this because this is a costume that the shooter had. And this is how people were starting to put together that he was a Groyper, because this is a Pepe costume, right? And Pepe is like the patron saint of the Groypers and the 4chan dudes and stuff like that, the school shooters and stuff. So when they showed that, they were like, yep, that's evidence that he was actually one of those. And I believe that. I think that is definitely strong evidence. But Pete has, wait, hold on. Before I get to that, let me close some of these tabs because I'm Losing my mind right now. Okay. Pete Hegseth is punishing people who are either police officers or you work for the government or something like that. He's saying, no, if you're talking bad about him, you're going to lose your job. So they're investing all these resources now. Keith Hegseth said, we're going to track everybody's social media. If you work for the government, if you work for law enforcement, whatever, we're tracking your social media. If you said anything at all negative about Charlie Kirk, we're going to get you fired and we probably will arrest you. Secretary of War. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Come on, say it again. War. Ugh. God. What is it good for? Okay, let me stop singing. So John high as giraffe pussy. All right. But yeah, so they're bringing it in. So I also want y'all to think. I want y'all to know the 92% also had to weigh in. Matter of fact, let me pour some more wine. I'm probably gonna need a few sips when we talk about this. My sisters, I love you. I do love you. I do. But, you know, the 92% had to weigh in. Okay. Here's what they said. That lady, Kamala Harris, whose husband does free pro bono legal work for Donald Trump and who no longer has security detail, she said, I am deeply disturbed by the shooting in Utah. Doug and I sent our prayers to Charlie Kirk and his family. Well, why are you sending prayers to Charlie Kirk? I don't know, because he's dead. Or maybe she posted this before he died. Okay. And then she says, let me be clear. Okay. Let me be clear. Political violence has no place in America. I condemn this act. And we must all work together to ensure that this does not lead to more violence. Thank you. That is my Kamala Harris impression. You're welcome. Yep. I'm here every week. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Oh, and then y'all girl, Miss Thing. Representative Miss Thing. Miss Thing. Bleach, blonde, bad built, but whatever. And that's also true. That you did do this and you did I can't pass no bills and I ain't doing nothing. I'm getting redistricted. But I got a neck roll and I got some sass and I can say fuck you, Elon. And I can sell merch based off of my catchy, witty, snappy phrases. She said, today's act of political violence in Utah against Charlie Kirk is absolutely disgusting and unacceptable. We don't have to agree on everything, but we should all agree on this. Political violence is wrong and has no place in our democracy. That's my Jasmine Crockett impression. That's a great question. But friends, just literally 2 hours before that, she said, Republicans will blame immigrants for everything, but stay silent on white supremacists, January 6 rioters, and school shootings. If y'all really cared as much as you claim you do, you'd call out all the threats to our communities, not just the ones that fit your agenda. I'm so glad she got a center part wig. Bless it. They told her to get the baby hairs off your edges. They said, stop wearing the lopsided bust down and get you a middle part bob like a professional bitch that you're supposed to be. Somebody got in her ear. Somebody got in her ear. Again, that was a 2-hour difference in posts. All right, let's see. Representative Lucy McBath, who scammed us all. Her son, rest in peace. Her son Jordan was shot by a white supremacist, and she used his death to run for office, only to get into office. And every time you turn around, voting for something that goes against the needs of Black people. I wish y'all would vote her out, but there she is. Another conservative wrapped in Democratic clothing. like Eric Adams and Sherelle Parker and Lori Lightfoot was, and Keisha Lance Bottoms and Muriel Bowser and Cory Booker and Malcolm Kenyatta and all these people. Ooh, who said that? Malcolm Kenyatta from Philadelphia, trying to be president one day. He's trying very hard to rise to that top. He's gay, wants to be the first gay Black president of the United States. Never gonna happen. But anyway, he said the details surrounding the abhorrent shooting of Charlie Kirk remain unclear. But what is crystal clear is that political violence is a cancer. This violence must have no safe harbor and must be condemned in all its forms and all its corners. And I'm just reading now from this is from the 92%. These are from, you know, that lady's biggest supporters, you know. Oh, you know, thank you very much. Appreciate you saying that. First person to acknowledge how funny I am when I do my impressions. Thank you very much. So here's what they do. They send out the presser to all the staff folks, the chiefs of staff, you know, the folks who do the PR and correspondence on each person's team. They all get the exact same messaging. It gets to the social media team, gets reworked a little bit, and then they all post the same shit. Okay. Just like when Gavin Newsom kicked off that chain of people calling Donald Trump a communist or a socialist or whatever. You want to talk about people not knowing nothing, calling Donald Trump a socialist. Who came up with that? That's why they can't win no damn elections, because your strategists, the DNC strategists, don't know what the hell they're doing, right? But anyway, let's talk about let's talk about Martin Luther King III, what he said. Now, mind you, I gotta preface this by saying that Charlie Kirk said that Dr. King was an awful man and that he didn't even believe the one thing that he stood for. That's what Charlie said. Charlie basically said that if Martin hadn't fought for the Civil Rights Act, then Black people would be much happier. Like, I need y'all to understand that. So understand that as you hear me read this. There is deep heaviness in our heart for our nation today. The death of Charlie Kirk is not only a tragedy for one man or one movement, it is a wound. Oh, wait, actually, let me do this in my Martin Luther King impression. Hold on, let me make this a little bit bigger. I think you need the MLK. You need the MLK version. There is a deep heaviness in our hearts for our nation today. The death of Charlie Kirk is not only a tragedy for one man or one movement, it is a wound to the soul of our nation. Whenever violence visits any of God's children, it diminishes us all. Now, whether we agree or disagree with the words a man speaks, we must never lose sight of his humanity, nor forget the sacred dignity that lives within each and every person. We are living in our hour of great moral crisis. Our public square is ablaze not only with the words of disagreement, but with the fires of hatred, suspicion, and revenge. The fabric of our beloved community is being torn apart by bitterness and a refusal to see our political opponents as our brothers and sisters. Let me be clear. Violence, no matter what its justification or its target, is not the answer. It is not the way. It has never been the way. Violence may silence a voice, but it can never change a heart. It may be bigger body, but it cannot heal a nation. We must not allow righteous anger to harden into hatred, nor trade the dream of America for the nightmare of division. Today we are being called to a higher way, a way that sees beyond left and right, beyond red and blue, beyond slogans and shouting. We are being called back to the table of brotherhood, to the hard but holy work of reconciliation. Let us not wait another tragedy to mourn, nor for more blood be spilled before we say enough. The time is now to lay down the weapons of rage and pick up the tools of peace. The time is now to listen again, to speak with humility, and to remember that no ideology is greater than our shared humanity. We pray for healing for our nation, our families, and all who suffer under the shadow of violence. And we pray that we must rise from this moment, not more divided, but more determined to build together that more perfect union where justice rolls down like the waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. Let us work on with hope in our hearts and peace in our hands. Yeah. Yeah, we needed that. Yeah. That's what Martin Luther King III said. Okay. We pick up people's vibes like this. That's why we toss people aside much quicker than other people, because we recognize exactly who you are immediately. Yes, that was the same post. It was that long. It really was that long. It really was that long. Oh, by the way, the Utah State University did acknowledge that he was there in fall of 2021. That was it. All right. What else did I see? Hold on. The full weight of the federal government is being used to memorialize Charlie Kirk. This is from Mother Jones, senior reporter Anna Merlan. So several Trump administration officials and members of Congress have said that they're tracking statements that appear to impugn Kirk. A partial list of those threatening retribution include Pete Hegseth, one of his assistants, Sean Parnell, Navy Secretary John Fallon, Deputy Secretary of State Christopher Landau, and members of Congress like Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee and Clay Higgins. By the way, Donald Trump said he's sending the National Force to Memphis, Tennessee. You're welcome, Marsha Blackburn. So their comments are being brought to light by several MAGA activists. Oh wait, I wanted to show y'all what Trump said. Hold on, because I'm already bored with that. Hold on, here's the Trump's response. We didn't even talk about Trump's response. Y'all let me get away with skipping past Donald Trump. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Let's open that up and let's share who we are. Yeah, I told you I have high. Okay, here we go.
Yeah. Can I always say, I think, just to protect us all, and so Fox doesn't get sued and we all don't get sued and everything else. But I think with a high degree of certainty, we have him in custody, right? In custody. Everyone did a great job. We worked with the local police, the governor. Everybody did a great job. You know, getting somebody that you start off with absolutely nothing. And we started off with a clip that made him look like an ant that was almost useless. We just saw there was somebody up there. And so much work has been done over the last 2.5 days. You know, it's amazing, actually, when you start off with that and then all of a sudden you get lucky.
So I just want to point out to everybody that the FBI ain't do shit. The campus recorded the footage, right? He went to his daddy. His daddy went to the pastor. They turned him in, okay? The FBI had nothing to do with this. The FBI could not find that man in one day. That man didn't go nowhere but to his daddy house. He didn't leave. They said he could be in the bushes. He could be in another state by now. They were like, because of how Utah is spread out, he could be in another state by now. That boy went home to his daddy, told his daddy what he did, and his daddy said, all right, we got to clean the scene. Oh my God, you ain't never lie. You ain't never lie, okay? Cash Patel was like, oh shit. Wait, here, we can watch this one. Hold on real quick, because I got another one for y'all to watch. Hold on. They're going to kick me off because I keep showing so much third-party shit. Okay, hold on.
As key pieces of evidence, law enforcement officials in Utah have arrested 22-year-old suspect Tyler Robinson in the Charlie Kirk assassination, and they released mugshots of him.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We got him. On the evening of September 11th, a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident. It is also much bigger than an attack on an individual.
Always watch
It is
Cash
an
Patel.
attack on all of us. It is an attack on the American experiment.
He is also high.
It is an attack
In this
on
moment,
our
he is high.
ideals.
The Utah governor thanked Robinson's family for doing the right thing. Cox also cited as key pieces of evidence engravings on bullets found in a rifle believed to be used in the attack and chatting app messages attributed to the.
So they actually didn't do anything. Okay. They turned him in. Cash definitely. He got the easy layup. He didn't have to do nothing. This is the first major thing to happen. I mean, I consider the school shootings to be major, but they no longer do. But this is like the first major thing that he's had to do since he's been head of the FBI. And a man, a whole day was standing there like, what the hell am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing right now. Oh my God. Shout out to Dr. Hall. Everybody say hi, Dr. Hall. You know who Dr. Hall is. He joins me every now and then. Yeah, that was something. But your daddy turned you in. And that's where we are. So here we're gonna go. Okay, wait, let me find my thread because I am a little bit high and I might actually need to read my own words just so I can be coherent. Hold on one second. Because I wrote something really important earlier. Hold on. What did I write? Okay. So a couple of things I said. We cannot leave religion out of this, right? So when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about the fact that, Trump is in his last days, whether through sickness or them ousting him. So we're not thinking about him anymore. We're thinking about the next thing, right? And so people are talking about, the tech bros versus the MAGA or whatever. But we need to be thinking about this Opus Dei Catholic cult that J.D. Vance and Peter Thiel and all these other people are a part. Isn't Yarbin also in this? So they're in this cult section of what they call Catholicism. I would equate them to the 5%ers. They are not really Muslim, but they are like this adjacent Muslim sect, but not really Muslim because they have their own shit that whatever. I would equate them to that. And so JD Vance is one of those. And Erica Kirk was waving her rosary, y'all. So that's another issue that the right-wing evangelicals would have with a Charlie Kirk. It's like they hate Catholics. They hate Catholics. They hate Jews. They hate Black people. And they hate Mexicans. And if you're Ecuadorian, you are Mexican to them. Okay? And I was just like, well, wait a minute, y'all. What has Charlie been doing? Because why is JD Vance aligning with him? Oh, because Trump supporters are evangelical Protestants. And I've said this is going to get very interesting, y'all. And we're not thinking enough about the religion part because we don't want to believe that people would risk their lives and a country's collapse over religious beliefs. But honestly, tell me you ain't never read a Dan Brown novel without telling me you never read a Dan Brown novel. Remember the Crusades? Come on, man. Religion. Remember the Ottoman Empire, okay? The first people to enslave Africans were the Arab Muslims. Come on, man. They traded us off to the Christians. Come on. All right? Let's be real here. Let's think about this stuff, okay? So she's got her rosary and they got the Catholics on this side and then they got the evangelicals on this side. And they go to these churches. Hegseth goes to the church of a man who says that women shouldn't vote. And another one who was saying that women shouldn't leave the house, that their job is to stay home and raise kids and support their husbands, which is what Charlie Kirk said. But Charlie Kirk's wife is going and getting a PhD from Liberty University and has her own business. So again, for thee, not me. And that's why I think Candace Owens is coming, because if you don't know this by now, I believe Candace Owens has been running the longest fucking con right in front of our faces. I do not believe that she believes any of the shit that she says. She is running a con. And the more I think about this, the more I believe that Charlie Kirk also was running a con. And I think what Candace Owens was trying to tell us is that them two, that we really ain't the bad ones. We playing this game, we getting this money. All right, sorry, we fucked up, whatever, but we getting this guap. Versus these people actually really believe this shit. And they're coming after him now. I know a grift when I see one. I know a grift when I see one. Okay? Shout out to the chat. How's everybody doing? Put in the chat where y'all from. I want to shout y'all out. I know I got people all over. Where y'all from? Let me know where you're checking in. Put it in the chat. Make sure you all hit the like button. Hit the like button if you haven't already done so. It lets YouTube know that we are here, and then more people can come, and then they can subscribe, and they can join us as we work towards figuring out what our revolution is going to look like. Okay? Okay. Okay, and then I also said, when powerful, heavily armed people allow religion to guide their decisions and actions, humanity generally suffers greatly, because all that stuff is made up and people are just willing to die for it because their texts tell them it's the honorable thing to do, right? Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteous sake, right? The Beatitudes said, don't worry if people come at you for your Christian views. I got you. If anybody comes at you because you have faith and belief in me, don't worry about it. In the afterlife, I'm going to take care of you. A lot of people believe that shit. A lot of people will believe that there is some eternal heaven after they die. So they are working now to make sure they get there. And they're willing to die for Sky Daddy. And so I said, they're guided by collective delusions, and that is terrifying for everything. And yes, I respect your right to have whatever religious views you want, because people don't rock with some of the stuff that I believe in, and that's okay, but I don't have to respect your religion. So if you are somebody who gets offended by me being very dismissive towards Christianity, Judaism, Islam, etc., then this is not the joint for you. And I respect if you got to step back because you can't really deal with me, because now none of this shit makes sense to me. I'm sorry, it doesn't. People have spent centuries killing each other because they believe that their belief is the right Sky Daddy belief. That is absolute insanity. There's no other way to think about that. And here we are right now in 2025 in the United States, in the middle of another civil war, and it is a religious war. And they are trying to make it into a culture war. It's not a culture war. It's not about woke. They don't give a fuck about us, y'all. They don't care. Black people, we are 13% of the population. They don't care. The United States, I think, has the second highest number of nukes in the world. If they wanted us gone, we would be gone. They've been poisoning our water. They've been selling us guns and giving us drugs. We have been killing ourselves off. They're good. If they wanted to accelerate that, though, they absolutely could, because you niggas keep getting together for these large events as if we are not at war with the United States government that'll come and drop a bomb while you asking where them fans at. Y'all are still gathering in massive groups, and I don't understand why. I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying. My little rant. I'm back. Don't worry about me. I'm back. I'm just saying. Oh, this was bothering me as well. Here we go. I want to make sure y'all saw this one too. I got all the videos tonight. Hold on. This guy here, we're going to put him at the beginning here.
10, and we're going to be going over chapter 10 in Matthew. But before we get into chapter 10, I want to say sorry to Charlie Kirk's family for their loss, because Charlie was a good man. I used to watch his videos, and he used to just preach the gospel and tell the truth about Jesus Christ. And I'm so sorry for their loss. And I hope the Lord can protect them through the times that they're going through.
Now, y'all know. This is the shit I'm talking about. So there's two things happening, or two things that could be happening. One, he was adopted by white evangelicals who adopt Black children and enslave them in their homes. Please understand that is exactly what happens when these right-wing evangelical, mostly in the South, when they adopt, transracial adopt our kids, they are putting them to work and they are enslaving them. Took it off too soon. That is what is happening. That's why I'm against transracial adoption. Okay, bye. So either that is happening, or he's got Black parents who are Negropeans. Okay. Now, some people see me say, oh, did I just close that? Why did I close that? There's some people that'll hear me say, like, they'll read me say where it says Negropeans. And so it's like some people pronounce it Negropeans and some people say Negropeans. I like to say Negropeans because it makes, I'm reminding you that I'm talking about Europeans who happen to have brown skin. And that's saying a lot because that's a cultural statement. That's a cultural insult. But hold on one second. Let me just say what I saw there. Give me a second. Oh, I wanted y'all to see this. Hold on real quick. Hold on. There's a video. The leader of Black Lives Matter Boise was attacked. Hold on. Where's the sound on that? Let's go back to the video.
People's Liberated University, Boise to Palestine, Black Lives Matter, Boise. Love y'all, man. But I'm out here where I was attacked in front of the state capitol by a horde of rabid white vigilante, white supremacists.
Now people were saying, oh, he got
Kirk
stabbed to death and all this other stuff.
Crossed the street to confront me and assaulted me. It's all on video. And then after being assaulted here, I took steps back here, was assaulted again, and could do nothing but lay down and cover up. And if it wasn't for a couple nice people to kind of step in, I don't know what would have happened.
Okay. Now, rumors were saying, oh, he was riding through talking about fuck Charlie Kirk. We don't have proof of that. We have no proof of that. All we have is the word of white supremacists who were just acting like a lynch mob. And we know, per Rosewood and many other places, that lynch mobs don't care about the truth. And I'm looking at this man with a cast on his arm. Oh, by the way, he was the one that got booked. And they came through with the the bail fund to get him out. But he's the one that got booked after they beat him. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody saw that, because what the hell, honestly. I know he on the yellow side. It's okay. That man is not, blackness ain't about how you look. It's about how you show up in your community. And he shows up as leading these efforts for their chapter of, Black Lives Matter, whatever. Not that I'm whatever. But anyway, so I said, when powerful, heavily armed people allow religion to guide their decisions and actions, humanity generally suffers greatly because all this stuff is made up And people are willing to die for it because their texts tell them that it's the honorable thing to do. They're guided by collective delusions, and that is terrifying for everything. We are in for a period that will be taught for decades to come if we even survive the climate change extinction level event that is coming. Because that's what's what. So there's a lot going on, y'all. There's a lot going on. And these people are using Charlie Kirk's death, a man that they don't even really like that. Trump's side don't really like him. The extremists don't really like him. Charlie was somewhere in that middle. He was galvanizing young, impressionable people. He was raising money, and he was being, entirely odious, but he was able to appeal to people. This refrain that he was, he was just a champion of free speech and discourse. Free speech and discourse. I literally listened to them say how he was a champion of free speech and discourse while they are firing people for saying anything negative, even remotely. Even I don't feel bad. Like if you are somebody and you wrote, I do not feel bad that Charlie Kirk is dead, they're considering that hate speech. They're reporting you for that. And people are losing their jobs. So I get on some level why people may be pulling back and not really saying much anything. I get it. And I probably should be doing the same. But honestly, at this point, y'all, we talking revolution. We're not talking acquiescence. We're talking revolution. We're talking the time is over. That shriveling shit, that acquiescence shit, that time is over. Where was the video? Hold on. Let me see. Because there was this video of these. Here we go. Here we go. Let me share this with you too. Hold on. Because that was kind of I'm just letting you know where we are. Hold on. Hold on. White man, fight back! 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 White man. You see that? You see that? They were out there chanting, white men fight back. So many HBCUs got threats called in or went under lockdown because threats of mass shooters or, things like that were called in or whatever, terrorizing people at HBCUs, right? Then they realized it wasn't anybody on the left. And see, that's the thing. These right-wing folks, they equate the left with black. This is where the anti-blackness comes in. If you're not black and you are on the left, you're an N lover, right? And there were points in history where being an N lover was worse than being an N. And they would treat you accordingly. They don't teach it, but white people got lynched too for either marrying black people, having babies with black people, teaching black people, or fighting with black people. Okay, it wasn't a whole lot, but enough of them were for me to mention this. Being an N lover to this day, in every sector of our society, ask the porn stars. They are just yeah, no, once you're a white woman that does a black scene or a gangbang scene with black dudes or whatever, you're done. You're never getting hired to work with the white guys anymore, and you're not getting any more money, right? Once you go black, you never go back. So the N lovers are catching it too. And so if you're somebody who supports things that help black people, because black people have been systemically and systematically marginalized and discriminated against and oppressed, these things that are designed to correct that, if you support that, that means you actually believe that these people are human. And that makes you an N lover, because these people are not human. And anybody who thinks they are needs to be handled just like them. You understand? So that's how that is. Take a quick break to remind you all to hit that like button. I got my Cash up there, my Venmo up there. If you want, subscribe. If you ain't got no money, that's fine. Like and subscribe if you're not subscribed to my channel. That is a free way that you can support me and my work and let people know that we are here. If you're on social media, share this link. Let people know that we are here. Although I'm probably going to get off in like 10 minutes because I really want some pickles. And my pickles are downstairs. But I love y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all so much. There's so much going on. I might just do Tuesdays and Fridays. I don't need to be going out on no Fridays. I'm knocking on 50. I need to stay my behind here. I need to stay my behind here and be in my Crocs and be in my cups. Get high, have a drink, talk to y'all. You know what I mean? I love you all very much. We're going to make this. So here's what we're going to think. By the time I come back on Tuesday, here's what's going to happen. So hopefully I'll see you there on Tuesday. By the time I come back on Tuesday, we're going to see Tyler's name not be in the news as much. Like I said, they're going to probably wrap this up by Sunday. We're going to see more talk about this. Or if we do, it's going to be about how he was a secret liberal or something like that. Nick Fuentes will have released a video by then and made some commentary on this. We'll see at least one significant Nazi demonstration somewhere. We're definitely going to see that. This is going to spiral, y'all. Again, start prepping. Every time you go food shopping, if you buy just one extra thing, non-perishable, long shelf life, just buy one thing. Nobody expects you to be balling, okay? Because we all struggling. We all passing around the same money through the mutual aids. But if you could just get one extra thing, stock up a little bit, start building you a little bunker stash, okay? Look out for each other. Make sure you know at least 2 of your neighbors' names. All right, look out for each other. Get a name, good phone number, Go to target practice. If you haven't been shooting in a while, go brush up. Go get your shots on. Because it's been a while. I actually gotta hit the range myself. Because even I'm just kind of like, you gotta get back into it. Get that piece, get that steel in your hand again. And so we make sure we're not wasting ammo. Because I got a whole big finger ammo, but that's not gonna last indefinitely. So when I take my shots gotta be good. Right? We are preparing for those things. Self-defense classes, if you can afford it. Everybody that is gender neutral, okay? Defense courses. Learn how to fight. A lot of y'all can't fight. A lot of y'all were born after 1990, so I know you can't fight. Can't fight. Learn how to fight. Let's keep it at Tuesdays and Fridays. That way we're kind of checking in every few days. Make sure we're all here together. We're still here. Because things are moving rapidly now, y'all. Oh, passports. Please work on your passports. Please work on renewing your passport. I just got mine renewed in 2023, so I'm good to 33. Renew your passport if you're coming down to the year or 6 months or whatever. Renew your passport. If you don't have a passport, again, start putting a little bit of money aside every time you can. You got to get you a passport. You got to be ready to go. Okay. Oh, Katie said find some free judo classes on YouTube. Everything is on YouTube. Let me tell you something. I'm thinking about I'm going to have some people come in and pull up this carpet, but I'm thinking of laying down this shit myself because I've been on YouTube and I'm like, I can do it. I can save $5,000 and do it myself. Everything is on YouTube. Everything. You can find how to change your oil, find out how to fix your carburetor, find out how to seal your toilet. Everything is on YouTube. So start learning some survival skills. All right. Get some seeds. Please go get them seeds. There's certain seeds you can plant year round. Collards, broccoli, cauliflower. You can plant all them shits year round as long as you create the right conditions. You can grow them shits all year long. Start growing your food. Stop relying. Are you going to the shelves? The shelves are starting to empty now, y'all. We ain't got nothing. They're not pulling nothing out because they're getting rid of all the immigrants. All the workers are hiding and they don't want to come to work. Ain't nobody harvesting the vegetables and stuff because some lazy crackers don't want to do it. So, and they don't want us living out there. So we damn sure ain't do it. Black farmers do what they got to do. Black farmers ain't calling ICE though. All right. I love y'all. Be good. Be good to each other. Stay safe. Stay safe. Please look over your shoulders. Don't get in the car without looking in the back seat. Let's get some street smarts. All right. I want you to live to be here on Tuesday. Meet me back on Tuesday. Promise me, meet me back here on Tuesday. I'll be here. You be here. Let's love each other. I think I'm going to be here on Tuesday. Do I have to go somewhere on Tuesday? Why do I feel like I have something to do on Tuesday? Shit. Well, I'm going to check in with you. I think I'm okay, but I'll let you know. Love you. Be good.